Mark DeRosa, who is co-host of MLB Network's MLB Central with Lauren Shahadi and Robert Flores, weekdays at 10. He joins us here. Mark and Robert will be out at the stadium tomorrow, so will we. You guys will be out there, Yankee Stadium, hosting the show for opening day. Welcome back, Mark.
Yeah,
Good to see
thanks
you
for
again.
having me.
We had a blast last time we were here. This is becoming a tradition for us. All right, so what are you looking forward to this season? Is there something that jumps at New York, Mets, Yanks? What's the number one thing you're looking forward to start this 2025 season?
Obviously, if we're staying in New York, I like what David Stearns and the Mets have done. I know they got hit by the injury bug in spring training with some of their starters getting a little nicked up, but obviously Soto's going to be exactly what we expect him to be. But I think the savvy kind of sign for me with the Mets was moving Clay Holmes over from a Yankees uniform to a Mets uniform. And when we were at the winter meetings and they were talking about we're signing him as a starter, I was like, I don't know how this is going to play. Well, in Port St. Lucie, he's come up with a few new pitches. He looks phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
So that could be a huge home run. On the flip side with the Yanks, listen, we know why they pivoted as quickly as they did from Soto to Max Fried. 8 years, 218. Everyone was a little bit taken aback. I've known Max a long time living in the Atlanta area. He is typecast to pitch in Yankee pinstripes, and we know why they needed to get that done. Obviously, Garrett Cole was damaged goods coming off the World Series run. He didn't opt out of that contract, and he ends up getting hurt. So they need Max to pitch to Garrett Cole's kind of stature if they're going to stay in this.
Well, if he was damaged goods, what the hell are they letting him pitch in spring training for? Because that's when apparently it blew. The ligament,
that whole thing was interesting, though, right? Like, if he's totally healthy, he opts out and goes out and sees what the market provides for him. It almost seemed like, wink, wink, we're going to pick up the option and keep it moving.
Right.
So, yeah, the Yankees are interesting. The money they save with Soto, they go out. They bring in the Devin Williams for the back end of the bullpen. They're able to go out and get Cody Bellinger. I still think their lineup's got holes in it.
Yeah.
Certainly their rotation's been nicked with Cole, Schmidt, Heel, all those guys being down.
Yankees are better or worse than they were a year ago?
I was going to say they were better going in because I think they could potpourri it a little bit differently, but I would have to say with all the injuries right now, they go in limping a little bit worse than they were last year.
And do you think the Mets closed the gap enough with the Dodgers with the additions that they made in the offseason?
I don't think anybody closed the gap with the Dodgers. I really don't. If anybody woke up at 5:50 like me, cup of coffee, let the dogs out, watch them play in Japan, no Mookie Betts, no Freddie Freeman, no problem. Taking care of the Cubs. The arms they're running out there, it's a conveyor belt of just nastiness. Names you've never heard, names you have heard. I mean, game one, Yamamoto was unhittable, and then they just backed that up with a flurry of guys coming out of the bullpen with explosive stuff. I just think they're too deep.
Well, Mark, let me ask you this. I want to take it back to the locals here, and nobody's going to disagree on that Dodgers assertion. They're in a different league right now. Yeah. So, Soto's got pressure because of the contract, but he's a stud. Max Fried, first time here, got to make a good impression. We know Bellinger as well. There's some, Pete with the contract now. There's some
Pete's interesting.
There's some pressure points, there's no doubt. To me, and he's not even making big money yet, but it is go time for Volpe, or he's just not the guy that Yankees fans and the Yankees thought he would be when he was drafted first. It's year 3.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree a little bit because he showed up for me in the World Series. He really did. I know that one play where he threw the ball to third base, Jazz says it got away, and it ended up being a part of that just ridiculous 5th inning, I think it was.
Comedy of errors circus. We know what happened.
That was unbelievable.
You say ridiculous, I say glorious.
But you know what I love, Volpe? Because you know exactly what you're getting. I don't think anybody in that Yankee organization was thinking he was going to be the next Jeter. I don't think that's ever coming down the pike again. But I think you're getting a consistent performer every day that plays elite defense, cares about his craft, is going to do everything to win, is a 20-homer potential guy. Yeah, I'll take Anthony Volpe on my team any day of the week.
Yeah, but hold on. So would I. Yeah. And I like his makeup. I like his character. Plays every day, and he plays hard, okay? And I do think he's going to show some signs of improving even more this year. Now, they might not have thought they had the next Jeter. I'm with you on that. Yeah. He was signed to go to Vanderbilt. Clearly a star young player. Dude, you can't have a below 30% on base percentage. He's got, when I say I don't mean he's got to be an all-star, but you see these studs in the middle of the diamond blossoming in Baltimore and Kansas City. Can you hit 255?
Yeah, I think it's a different skill set. Yeah, yes, I do. And I think Anthony's only going to get better. I think everyone kind of fell into that. Listen, we do it with the youth level. Everyone falls into that trap where we want to teach every guy in the lineup to hit like the 3-hole hitter or the 2-hole hitter. That's not the case. Maybe he is a 280 guy with 18 and gets on base and steals some bags and plays elite D. I'd rather that than you hit me to 220 with a below 300 on base.
Me too.
And you pop a few extra homers for me. Leave that to Judge and Stanton.
Problem is, though, the Yankees thought that he was going to be a superstar. Brian Cashman has said that to us, BT. We had him on.
He did say that.
Because
yeah.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, man, I thought this guy was... His peaks, his flashes have been superstar type. Obviously, he hasn't been able to withstand that. So they thought he was going to be a superstar. And then they go through the same thing, Mark, where they now have Dominguez. Look at the Yankees roster. I mean, for the New York Yankees and all the money they spend and the star power, all the injuries is leading to Wells, Volpe, Dominguez is the next guy. What are your expectations for Dominguez this year?
Well, obviously you worry about the way he handles left field.
You get your pop-up.
That's number one. But he's got electric bat speed. Booney speaks highly of him. We throw the word superstar around way too loosely in today's game. Everybody who comes up quick to the big leagues, I mean, we are kind of taken aback by the Otanis and now like the young guys, the Bobby Witts that come up and change the game, the Gunnar Hendersons that are Ellie De La Cruz. I was out at spring training. I had the Arizona run. He was the one guy. I got on a plane from Phoenix to fly back to Atlanta. I was like, oh, my God, I'm picking him to win NL MVP. Just watching him go about it. I don't think everybody has that skill set. And I think when I look at Volpe, like the consistency and the defense and the fight and the heart, and I think he's more of that player than this tools-out guy that's going to carry my team.
Yeah, but Dominguez is supposed to be the tools-out guy to Sal's
I expect
point.
him to hit.
You do?
I do.
Okay, very unconventional top of the lineup here for the Yankees with Austin Wells.
Yeah,
I think I think he's going to be really good. I like him. I think his bat is going to play. He's got a good presence and he's strong, and I think he's going to hit foul pole to foul pole sooner rather than later. Do you like his upside when you see a young Austin Wells? What do you see moving forward?
I like the upside. I do. I always look at catchers like you want to hear what their peers are saying about him. The guys love throwing to him. He's got a flair for the dramatic. He played well in the postseason. He liked the big moment, the big stage. I think that's only going to help him. I don't love him in the leadoff spot. I would lean more Volpe in the leadoff spot, and I know maybe the profile and the numbers don't say that, but I would try and turn Volpe into that type of player. Obviously, Booney and the analytics department feel like, let's get some of our best hitters to the plate, and let's get Austin Wells some heaters with Judge hitting behind him.
Who do you think's the Yankees' biggest competition in the American League?
You ready for this?
Yeah.
I'm bullish on it this year. I think Boston's going to be good.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah, I love the Bregman signing. And everybody's concerned about what it means for Devers. I think it motivates Devers.
Bregman's going to play second, right, to start the year? At least?
Is that what they're saying?
That's what I thought early.
I think he rolls out at third base, and I think Christian Campbell's going to be at second base, and I think we're going to see Devers in a DH spot eventually.
Well, that would make sense because Bregman's a great defensive third baseman.
And he rakes at Fenway, a healthy Trevor Story. I love the Garrett Crochet trade. I love bringing Walker Buehler over on a one-year deal. They're young. They got some prospects. The Roman Anthony kid, I laid eyes on him in the Futures game. I think Boston with Alex Cora leading a young group is going to be a very dangerous team.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't disagree. I think Boston's going to have a good season. Baltimore probably bounces back. Tigers have good pitching. Rangers will hit again this year. Astros retooled a bit. Most people seem to think, Yankees will definitely be a playoff team. Are you signing that right now, or are you not sure that they're even a playoff team?
No, I'm going to put them as a playoff team.
Out of respect or truly out of belief?
I think a little bit more out of respect than belief. I'm going to be honest with you.
Okay.
I want to see how the lineup flows. I want to see them get healthy. I want to see how Max Fried does in the Yankee uniform, although I think he's going to do very well. I think Rodon takes the next step of comfortability wearing the pinstripes. I think ultimately Booney and that team the depth of his pieces, find a way to get into the postseason. But no, they definitely roll into this season not as the odds-on favorite to represent the American League in a World Series again.
BT and Sal on the Fan live at Studio 42 at MLB Network. Mark DeRosa here with us. He co-hosts MLB Network's MLB Central with Lauren Shahadi and Robert Flores. Weekdays at 10 a.m. They will be out at the stadium tomorrow, Yankee Stadium, of course, for opening day, as will BT and I. So we're looking forward to that on this now baseball eve. Switching gears to the Mets, we've had a couple of your peers here on, Cliff Floyd, Dempster, and they both mentioned the Phillies as being the team in the National League East. Along with the Mets, I'm surprised about the Braves. Where are you looking at those top three teams? How'd you rank them in the NL East?
Yeah, I think Phillies have the most pressure on them of any team in the big leagues. They got to get it done, right? They're staring down some guys getting a little older. They got the Schwarbers, the Real Mutos, the Ranger Suarez are all headed to free agency at the end of this year. So they got to get it done. They got to close the deal. They've been in postseason way too many times, and they got to figure out how to get Harper and that team a World Series championship. The Braves for me are super interesting. Chris Sale was dominant last year. I think you can expect him to be dominant again this year, but I don't know, at that level, so that means Spencer Strider's got to come back and be effective. The Spencer Schwellenbach kid, I'm really bullish on. I think he's a darn good pitcher in the National League. He'll take the next step up. And they got to overcome some injuries and some down years. I mean, the Austin Rileys and the Matt Olsons they got to step up and play well. Ronald Acuna's got to come back healthy. Michael Harris has got to take the next step forward. They're dangerous lineup-wise.
Yeah, they are.
So Phillies
catcher,
one.
Murphy
Phillies,
hits home runs.
Give me Phillies, Braves, Mets.
Listen, this is a cop-out. This is a total cop-out. I've lived in Atlanta 25 years, so I'm going to pick the Braves to win that division.
Okay.
I'm going to pick them to win the division.
But why? You're out of New York. They're not hearing you right. Who cares what they think? Atlanta.
I think three teams out of the NL East get into the postseason.
Mets, Phillies, Braves.
I really do. I think all three get in. I think you got to win the Central to get in, and then I think you're going to have two come out of the West.
And then does the regular season matter in your mind anymore, or is it just about getting in? We saw the Mets knock off the Phillies last year. Obviously, it's happened repeatedly throughout the course of the last several years with the change in format.
I mean, as a player, you certainly want to win the division, but I don't care how we get in. Hot team's a dangerous team. I thought it was interesting this year because we were kind of concerned about that, right? All the layoffs for the divisional winners, and they're getting knocked out by wild card teams left and right. We had Rangers play the D-backs 2 years ago, and then last year it kind of... We kind of put that to bed with the Yankees and the Dodgers going to the World Series.
What do you think Vlad Guerrero is next year?
It's a very good question.
He turned down $500 million.
I think he's getting $6.
He ain't getting
$550.
$440.
He ain't get, dude. He's not getting that. Come on.
If he hits $320, he might.
If I'm Toronto, he's who I build around.
He's more valuable to them.
Yeah, I think he gets a bad rap. The body. I think he moves better than people give him credit for. I think he's athletic. I think guys like playing with him. I think his personality is infectious. If I'm picking between him and Bichette on who's staying, I'm keeping Vladdy.
Right, but if the Mets and Yankees, at the price that he wants, I know he's not saying he's going to be Soto, but when
Soto skewed everything.
Okay, but he's Soto. That's a different animal. So Vlad's on another planet if he's turning down that much money. Because
So you think 765 was clean?
Oh, I would have paid Soto $900. I don't care, man. I want that guy. Period. The Mets had to do what they got to do, get him in. Vlad I thought for sure if he hits the open market, Mets will get him probably somewhere between 4 and 5. But when he starts turning down 5, I do think he ends up with Toronto because I can't imagine if that price is going to take the Yankees out, it's going to take the Mets out, and probably others. So then where's the bidding like we had with Soto?
I'll take Pete for what he's making.
Well, there you go. You think Pete's going to have a big bounce back year?
I think Pete's got an axe to grind. I think the game humbled him a little bit last year. I think the business side of it humbled him a little bit last year. I think he's motivated to prove a point.
I said I would put they're not doing this. I would go Lindor, Vientos, Soto, Pete 4, maybe Nimmo 5, Alvarez when he's healthy and kind of build it out from there. Pete's in the 3 spot. I know the profile's changed over the years.
I like Pete in a 4 slot.
Yeah, me too. I don't like him in 3. I just don't like him there.
They're just trying to, I guess they're trying to get him as many at-bats as possible, get him to cover up Juan.
Yeah, but if Vientos is better in terms of average.
Exactly. I agree with you. I like Pete in that power spot, not thinking. Here's a 4 slot. You're paid to drive in runs, knock in runs, and hit homers. go out and do that.
You get caught up in the righty-lefty stuff? Remember, DeRosa interviewed to be a manager.
Oh,
I do. I do get caught up on if you can do it. I think obviously your lineup is who your GM and the players that he gives you. But yes, a righty-lefty strewn throughout the lineup certainly puts the other manager on in a way bigger defensive position of where he goes in the bullpen.
And talking about lineup construction, Mark DeRosa with us, by the way, BT and Sound on the Fan. Wouldn't, I don't love the way Booney's rolling out. I'm okay with Wells at the one spot because they don't really have another option right now, even though I hear you're on Volpe. But if I'm them, why not put Bellinger 2 and offer the same protection for him? Now, Soto doesn't need the protection really from anybody, but he still benefited from it, and so would Bellinger. So why not have Judge 3 behind Bellinger?
Yeah, honestly, that's probably a question for Judge of where he wants to hit. That strikes me as he probably feels most comfortable at 2. I know they've done a bunch of different things with him. They've tried leading him off. I mean, he's let Anthony Rizzo off at times when he was in that ballpark. So, obviously, that's the question they're having in Philly right now.
Yep.
There's a lot of talk about who we should lead off, Kyle Schwarber or Trey Turner.
Well, don't they have 2 lineups going? They're going to go righty-lefty. Trey Turner's going to be one, and Schwarber's going to be the other, right? That's what I read the other day.
Yeah, it would make sense when you think about it on paper that Trey Turner, his skill set would scream leadoff, but he's not a guy who just steals bases at this crazy rate. So, yeah, the lineup construction for us has changed. When we were kids, the number 3 spot was the best hitter on your team.
Always.
It is not the case anymore. It's the 2 slot. And then the leadoff guy is you want to take some – if you have that prototypical leadoff guy, I still think that plays best. That number 2 hole hitter that we grew up with, the guy who can move runners and get the sack bunt, that guy's dead.
Well, like Willie Randolph kind of guy?
That guy doesn't exist anymore. So now you move the 3 slot. You're just trying to pump up the top of the order. But I like the wild horse at the leadoff spot. I really do. I like that kind of game changer, like first pitch. A.J. Hinch was kind of one of the first ones to do that in Houston with George Springer. And it was like if you threw that cookie 0-0, it was 1-0. And it changed everything. It was like it woke up the team. It smacked the opposition in the mouth. So I kind of like guys getting a little cutesy with the leadoff spot if you don't have that prototypical guy.
Well, if that's the case, he's got some lefty juice and he could run. Why not put Jazz first?
Which is what I don't understand. That would be somebody I'd entertain. I'm giving Austin Wells a crack. I mean, is he an on-base percentage guy?
Yeah, Wells is better on base than Jazz. That's why I like Wells. So I just have to change my mindset because, like you said, growing up it was speed, lead off, a guy second who can move them over. Okay, now the big boys come up, 3 and 4 and 5. Have you thought about? We talked about it before you interviewed with the Mets years ago. Have you thought about getting back in, or you moved on from that?
My son's 15. He's a freshman in high school. It's important for me to be around him. I certainly would entertain phone calls on it. I'd be foolish not to. But
just as a manager, or
it's not something I'm openly pining to do.
Would you take like a coach, a hitting coach role, or you just got to go right for the top?
I gotta go right for the top. If you're gonna pull me off the couch, you better bring it. Blank check.
And if nothing else, these calls are leverage for MLB Network. Hey, I'm getting managerial sniffs. You got to pay me more money.
And we were talking about it before during the break before you came on with us, Mark. Your schedule is insane.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing or managing for that matter. Sunday night, you got to leave, come from Atlanta up here.
You know what the big thing is, and the reason this works out is my wife's so used to it, right?
From your playing days.
From my playing days, it's all she's ever known. My kids are a little older. My daughter's 21. She's a junior at Auburn. She's killing it. My son's 15. He's used to it. I think he plays better when I'm actually not sitting there hawking him. He'll deny that, but I think that's the case. And I grew up here, where the network is. So for me, I come up, I get to see my mom, my brother. So it kills a lot of birds with one
How could you
stone.
leave us for Atlanta?
He's a Bergen Catholic boy.
You know what? I've tried to get my wife. I married a Southern girl. I've tried to get her to move back up here relentlessly.
Where would you go, Jersey, if you did?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to stay in Jersey.
Absolutely.
We're both in Jersey.
Yeah.
When I come back and I land here, I'm like, got it.
Yeah, I feel it's yeah. Yeah,
the energy's back.
You make a pit stop at the bottom bing or what?
Yeah, right. All right. You can catch Mark tomorrow live at the stadium, Yankees opening day, hosting their show. It is MLB Network's MLB Central. Lauren Shahadi and Robert Flores, weekdays at 10 a.m. Mark.